I'd sent out a landlord letter in September last year.
Yeah.
It was great because I remember posting them on the Wednesday and the Friday. This chap rang me up, and it's from the HMO council list, and he actually had 2 properties, not 1.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to say anything because he rang me and he just told me everything. It was great.
So
received a Booking.com review award. Yeah, that's right. Because I was doing Airbnb in my own house, just 1 bedroom, 1 ensuite. And I sent it to him and said, I thought you might be interested in this. So I just kept...
So you were kind of demonstrating your credibility to him. Obviously.
And before I could even offer $1,200, he said, I'll tell you what, Nadia, I like you. How about we start slowly at £1,000 a month for 6 months? After 6 months, if you're still struggling, I'll extend it for a year. But if you take off, I want $1,500. So I said, all right then.
Why was it rent to rent that you kind of wanted to do?
Well, it wasn't my first strategy because I thought, divorce, big money coming in, you know. But actually, in the end, it wasn't. So I thought, right, kick up the bum there, you know, get on with it. So, I'd sent out a landlord letter in September last year.
Yeah.
It was great because I remember posting them on the Wednesday and the Friday. This chap rang me up, and it's from the HMO council list, and he actually had 2 properties, not 1.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to say anything because he rang me and he just told me everything. It was great.
So it's the right time and right place for that particular landlord. Okay, right, okay.
It took a year to get through because I think he was waiting for the new tax year, to be honest.
Right.
And it suited me because I was still in the middle of the divorce. So we just met, had a meeting, and we got on really, really, really well. And I remember him saying to me during that interview, so who is Nadia Taylor? And I actually struggled with that because I'd only ever been a housewife and I'm trying to portray, I know what I'm doing. And I hadn't started Mastermind yet either. Kept in touch with him throughout the year, and in April, and I must say this, during my coaching calls, Kirsten, my coach, she, I changed my strategy every coaching call and my land and my area.
That probably didn't help.
No, it didn't. No. I actually started, I'm going to do service accommodation in Buckinghamshire, then Shiny Penny Syndrome came in, and then in April, I got, or May I think, this landlord who I'd kept in touch with, he sent me an email and said, hi Nadia, I've been procrastinating too long. I'm ready to let go of these properties if you still want them. And so met him again, we got on really well. And in September the 1st, he gave me the keys to 2 6-bedroom houses with 19 beds, because he was actually doing serviced accommodation, but really low-key. He managed everything himself, check-in, check-out, maintenance. So he did it Monday to Thursday. So come the weekend, he was knackered. He thought, I don't do weekends. So he wasn't maximising it. I thought about a purchase lease option, and I put it to him, but he didn't want to.
Right.
And he said, one house is mortgage-free, and I hope you'll buy it anyway. And the other house, he'd extended his mortgage of 5 years. And he said, after that, I'm selling it anyway. So he literally just walked out of the house and left me everything, bedding, everything.
Yeah.
And I went in and I just managed it differently, a serviced accommodation, maximised it, did the weekends, and took off.
So some people might say, oh, well, you've just been lucky. But I would say, actually, that's all that preparation and keeping in touch with him and keeping that rapport going.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been really easy? What most people would have done is, I was not interested and give up. Do you think that would have been easy? It
would have been, because there was a time where I'd had the first meeting with him and I'd arranged to meet him the following month. And then just before that meeting, he rang me and said, oh, Nadia, I can't make the meeting. I've got your number. And I thought,
I'll call you, don't call me.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
So, oh dear. But come Christmas, I sent him an SMS and said, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. In February, I received a Booking.com review award. Yeah, that's right. Because I was doing Airbnb in my own house, just 1 bedroom, 1 ensuite. And I sent it to him and said, I thought you might be interested in this. So I just kept...
So you were kind of demonstrating your credibility to him. Obviously, you weren't completely new because you're doing it in your own house. Yeah. Okay. Great. Excellent. Good. So let's talk through the figures, shall we? Now, obviously, you've only just took this on last month, so and actually you'd only just started advertising. You'd only had like 3 weeks' income in September, so it's actually better than these figures, isn't it? But let's talk through some of these, shall we?
Okay. So the rent. This guy just liked me. He wanted to give this house to me and nobody else because he said he'd had other letters. And interestingly enough, when I first saw his figures, because he did give me his figures, I'm a supporter, I don't do numbers. So I just, it's great. But actually, during my mentoring session, I gave the figures to my mentor, and he said, Nadia, these figures don't work because the landlord wanted £1,500 a month per house.
Yeah.
And he said, they just don't work. You'd be putting your hand in your pocket. So he said, it'll only work at £1,200. So I went back to the landlord and I said, I've spoken with my investor circle, that's you lot, and I'm afraid, £1,500 just won't work.
Yeah, you've had the thumbs down, I'm afraid. Yeah.
And before I could even offer £1,200, he said, I'll tell you what, Nadia, I like you. How about we start slowly at £1,000 a month for 6 months? After 6 months, if you're still struggling, I'll extend it for a year. But if you take off, I want £1,500. So I said, all right then. So I took it over. Currently, I'm paying £1,000 a month. I need my glasses now. So, he walked out and left all the linen. So we started using his, but because I took off, we just weren't coping with the cleaning, washing, ironing. So I started hiring the linen. We have 60 changes a week. We've actually ran out last week of linen, because it's just taken off. Utilities are there, 393, council tax 344. So I look on this as one unit of 12 rooms, yes, as opposed to 2. So this is for both houses.
Yeah.
My cleaning and general maintenance is 1,000. Maintenance for the house is 400. The houses are quite dated. I need to go in and do, upgrade it a bit, but they're full. I can't get in there, So
so he just wasn't renting at the weekends, so he was missing out on that potential.
Yeah. And he wasn't prepared to do any advertising. He didn't want to pay commission.
Right. Okay.
So I put it on booking.com, and he only wanted contractors Monday to Thursday, and that's basically all he had. And he was renting the rooms out very, very cheaply. So when I went in there, I put it on booking.com, they filled the rooms, and what I found was somebody might come on booking.com one day and then say, can I extend for the week? And then that's commission free. Then they'll come back the next week.
Yeah.
So last week, out of my 12 rooms, I had 8 rooms outside of booking.com full.
So you kind of got the ball rolling with something like that, because they do charge a high commission for that. But I say if you meet them and connect with them, and you can often get repeat business.
Yes, I do.
To you. And what some people do is they offer a slight discount off the rate. Say, well, look, it's if you book it through booking.com, it's X amount. Through me direct, it's maybe 5% less. But that's you still save about 10% that you don't have to pay to booking.com. So you're better off, they're better off. Works well, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't offer that because I don't need to be honest.
Fair enough. There you go.
I don't. They've asked for.
In fact, I think you should put your prices up, Nadia. You're obviously too cheap. If you thought that,
Somebody said if they're full, you're too cheap. And when I first started the main house, just the history of it is they bought one house, 9-bed guest house for serviced accommodation, and they were so successful they bought the other 2. Now, this partnership are separating, so the ladies kept the main house, and I've got the other 2 from the landlord. And she started me up with 4 of her contractors, but, at £30 a night, even if it was in a double room or a twin room.
Right.
So I was stuck to those prices for that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they left, I put the prices up. Yeah. And so a lot of the rooms are for doubles or twins, and I charge £50 a room. So even if one person books, they will pay £50 a room. But when they ask for a discount, I say, well, it's £25 a bed. Isn't that cheap? And they agree.
Yeah.
So, I don't give discounts either, sorry.
Yeah, good. And actually, most serviced accommodation, if you aim for a level of about 70% occupancy, that's pretty good, basically.
Yeah.
So you're obviously doing better than that.
I do get 100%. You know, 75% is my average. Well, my lowest generally 75%.
Yeah, that's very good.
So it's doing really well. Yeah.
Good. So Nadia, once all these, because it's early days yet, but what are you, looking at going forward? What do you project it's going to give you per annum on these properties? Numbers question. That's not good, is it?
No, it's not me. I'm a supporter. I haven't thought of it, to be honest. I do know.
Yeah, Nadia, numbers do help.
I know. I give it to somebody else, but because it's early, and all I can say for October, it's in the first 10 days, I've already taken in 4,000.
Yeah.
So you know, I know. So even if you doubled it, 8,000, which is what I did for September for 24 days, I got 8,000 in September.
Yeah.
You know, my costs are about 5,000. The Booking.com commission will just decrease.
Yes.
I know that. And as I say, my costs are about 5,000, so my profit will go up. Sorry, I haven't actually.
That's okay.
You know,
but you haven't been running long enough, yes, I guess, to get it, but still. But again, really inspiring. Can we put our hands together? Thank Nadia, please. Nadia, thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you. I do hope you got massive value from watching this YouTube video. I'd encourage you to click on the link below to come and do the online training with me. And I've got another video lined up for you, which I think is also going to be really useful that you should watch once you've registered for the online training with me. So invest with knowledge, invest with skill. I'll see you very soon.